Unexplained, and today's guest is one of the sharpest up and comers in the sports tipping game, the man behind the Sports Lab, a guy who's not just calling plays, he's predicting outcomes before the rest of us even see it coming. And I hear he's quite good on the poker table as well. So whether you're here to win a multi, learn a thing or two, or just hear how a rising mind in the game operates, let's get into it. Welcome, Chris. How we doing, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Nah, I appreciate you being on, man. So for listeners out there, for people who don't know you, tell us about the Sports Lab, man. How did it come about? It's a very niche thing that you're doing, you know?
Yeah, it is a bit niche. It just started from kind of just doing my own research and trying to get an edge, no pun intended, on on the bookies a little bit because I think the bookies they make a lot of money from people just raw guessing and
Yeah.
trying to the small bet into the big win. So five a hundred $5 bets adds up, right? Where you could have just put $100 on like a solid 5 to 1, right? But people don't like we're not made to make risks, and you kind of just got to fight that a little bit, and yeah, I just try to make the smarter plays. So I thought, why don't I just go and compile all the data that I found from multiple sources,
Yep.
put it into what I thought was relevant into one post, and then share it with everyone. Um, it kind of that concept, as simple as it sounds, I don't think people were doing it because people were too busy posting, links to get paid or just their slips and saying follow me. And I think that just rubbed people the wrong way because
Yeah.
if you post just a slip and it doesn't go well, people are just going to be like, oh, you're crap and blah blah blah. But if you show why you made those picks, people are a lot more forgiving, and it's kind of
Oh,
just unlucky,
100%.
right? It's unlucky
And
because if this guy, yeah, go on.
no, you're sorry, bro. Sorry to cut you. I didn't mean to. So do you have a sport that you find is a bit easier to predict? Like I've done a little bit of sports betting myself, and NBA kills me every time. Like
that
NBA is
used
one of
to
those. Yeah.
that used to be the play NBA. I don't want to get into the conspiracy debate about, DraftKings and everything else taking over the sport and influencing things, but that used to be the easiest because there's 82 games a year to gather data from, and averages held true for a lot. And you could obviously look at, like with NBA, you'd look at points in the paint sort of stats and then go for a center above average sort of thing, and then unders you just look where they're weak and that sort of stuff. But NBA now is an I just almost given up on it this season. I don't know what's happened, but it's just ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. Good luck
And
to anyone who's done well there. NRL is I've watched NRL my whole life. Being in
yeah.
Sydney obviously helps. If I was
Who's your
born in
favorite team?
Melbourne, Canberra Raiders. I won't turn
Oh
the
yeah,
cap around, but
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canberra Raiders. So they play tonight, and I'm looking forward to the game. Hopefully, we show up a little bit better than last week. But
Oh, being a home game at GO, mate. I'm sure the crowd will be out and the game will be pumping. It should be a good one.
but
Um.
but on the AFL front, just quickly, there is a good potential for someone like me to do the AFL equivalent of the Sports Lab,
Yeah.
because there's disposals, handballs now, and different, like, all sorts of stuff. Disposals is like rebounds in NBA, right? In terms
Yeah.
of gathering averages and betting like that. So there is a market there if someone wants to grab the AFL part of it, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Um. So you went into a little bit about what got you into this space and why you're doing like how the sports lab came about.
Mm.
But growing up, were you always the guy that's people you did like? When did this start, man? Was it like a thing that you found during high school? You just started watching footy, being an avid footy fan, and then you just started, being able to predict who was going to score based on form, or do you like, what sort of research goes into it? Do you look at stats for games? The like for example, I think last weekend there was a can't think of who it was, but Parramatta actually, and they'd never beaten the Broncos. I think it
Yeah.
was in 8 years at Suncorp or something like that. So for you, do all those things sort of factor into your predictions and your outcomes?
Yeah, definitely. I'll address how I got into it to start from a young age. Before I knew what betting was, I remember we used to go to our neighbour's house and watch the grand finals. So I'll show my age a little bit. The first grand final I watched was like I think it was 2002. Um, and then
Warriors Panthers, was that similar?
yeah, and
Yeah.
then in 2005 for the Tigers Cowboys one, I remember I just put on a piece of paper with my sister. We are gonna go like we were gonna predict who's gonna win, who scores the first try, who got Dally M, and I actually got all of them correct.
Benji Marshall
Um,
flick pass, mate. That'll
that's a
stand the
hundred.
test of time.
Exactly. And I don't think I could ever do that again, right? And I got no money for it. But it was kind of like I didn't realize, obviously, back when I was that age, that that's what I was doing. But I would have made a killing off that bet.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
100%.
but yeah,
And
so it's been ingrained in my head since I was young to try and predict things.
it's funny how that sort of works. Though you find a passion and then you start really studying it. I had a similar
Mm,
thing. I'm a big UFC guy. Love my UFC.
yeah,
And I remember Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, and I'd said to just a random person who asked me who I thought was going to win, and I told him Conor McGregor in the first 30 seconds of round number one. Had no money on it, nothing. I
yeah.
said he's going to knock him out with one punch, and then the fight played out, and first 10 seconds it was over. So
Yeah,
it
that would
was
have
like,
been that would have been the perfect bet, and no one would have done it because everyone thinks, oh, they're going to have to try and make their money out of the fight and blah blah
yeah.
blah. But yeah, no, Conor McGregor doesn't muck about. He'll do things in his own way, no matter what.
And like when it comes to when you look at people that bet and people that do sports betting and tipping and things like that, they're
Mm,
always trying to do the $1 hits and make two
it's
grand,
yeah.
two and
I
a
mean,
half grand. Is it really focusing on the smart bets rather than the Cinderella shots?
100%. I mean, that's
Yeah,
where I think 98% of the money comes from the bookies. You add up how many $1 bets on trying to buy a house or whatever you want in one bet, like they all add up, and that's where they make their money. And sadly, you see the real high rollers who do like 50 grand on a dollar 50, they get banned real quick because they're going to take a lot of money in the long term if they know what they're doing.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a fine line between betting smart and trying to win the lotto sort of thing. So
yeah, hundred percent.
that's just, and it's normal. I mean, I completely get it. Everyone wants the rags to riches story, but realistically, it's just not going to happen very often. I don't base my bets around winning. I'm going to win every 10,000 to one bet. Like this, you're gonna fail. Even if you hit one of them and everyone gets on the hype, it's going to fail long term.
Yeah, and that's where gamble responsibly comes in, listeners. You know,
Yeah.
has there been a moment? You've been doing this quite a while. Has there been a moment where you've thought, I've absolutely nailed this? You're watching a game, you're seeing live bets, and then it's just
Mm.
completely flipped and and shit the bed.
Oh, more times than you can count. The most recent one that comes to mind was last year's grand final.
Yeah.
Um, I would have won like $10,000, and all I
Oh,
needed was Pappenhausen.
yeah,
And on the right hand side, 20 meters out, line open, Reece Walsh comes and tackles him and ruins it. But Prime Pappenhausen scores that, and
yeah,
that was just like everything just the gods opened up, and I'm like, oh, it's in. But then poor Pap, like obviously he's no longer in the NRL at the moment, and yeah, you could just that moment. I think that moment right there might have been what sealed his decision to retire.
yeah,
So
100%. Yeah, I
yeah.
totally agree, mate. But I definitely think they've really upped their game by getting Sewer instead. Sewer's
Oh,
he's
the
he's
thing,
next level.
the amazing thing about the Melbourne Storm is they're literally just a production line. They
Yeah,
they bring the formula through the juniors, and then if a big name player retires and the next one comes in, like it's just amazing how like their key spine will just never be bad because they're learning the system and it just comes in like robots almost just
yeah.
to carry on the same job. And that's why they made the finals 20 something years in a row now, which is unheard of in a salary cap era sport.
Yeah,
It's
unless you're the
crazy.
Sydney Roosters.
Yeah, well, I said salary cap. So,
Yeah, sombrero, mate, as they call it.
although the Storm did get caught, so yeah, I
Yeah,
guess that
true.
makes sense too.
Is there a team you're watching this year? Obviously, we're in round three now. Is there a team that
Yeah.
is sort of surprising you as far as statistics go? I know personally, watching the West Tigers on the weekend, I thought
Yeah.
if they keep that rolling, they're going to be a very hard team to beat. Same with the Waz. But
Yeah, I feel the halves combination is so important, and I wasn't sure about Adam Dewey at 7 to start with, but
yeah,
he's got a good head on him. I think it'll be interesting to see how they go. Like Luai's playing at 6. When he played 7, it kind of didn't work. So I think the Tigers, they've always had a talented roster, but just those key spine decisions just have been, I think, costing them.
yeah,
And like the Wires have
definitely.
a great halfback when he's fully fit, Metcalf. So I
Oh,
think they
he's
have the
phenomenal,
potential.
man. Yeah,
They have
he's
the potential to go all the way with their
yeah,
halves and talent, but Tigers is a watch this space because I'm not
yeah,
too sure how over 30 games, including finals, they'll go with that halves pairing. But they've got the talent.
yeah,
Mm.
100%. Obviously, I'm a Panthers supporter myself. So, and I
Yeah,
feel like, and I was saying to a couple of people over the weekend because I like to help people with their tips as well, even though mine's not going too good. I went 8 for 8
uh,
round one, number one though. I will say,
you did.
proud of that. Yeah,
You
eight for
can
eight.
you can you can take my
Um,
job at this point.
but having a chat with people, it's like I don't see anybody beating the Storm at the moment, and
No, not at all.
I
No.
don't see anyone beating the Panthers.
It comes down to
It
spine.
Yeah,
When I try and rank premiership favorites, I literally just rank a spine.
yeah,
And the Storm have the best one. So
and
right,
longevity without injuries. Like
yeah.
Newcastle started off hot and heavy, and now Fletcher Sharp's out this weekend. Kalen Ponga's out.
Well,
Which are going to continue.
they were gonna be my answer to who's surprised me so far. The Knights have gone from can't score a try to can't stop them, and
Yeah,
well, injuries stop them so far, but
yeah.
good potential there.
Oh man, with Sandon Smith playing for them,
Great.
yeah,
He can come off as a 14 when they're fully fit, and that's handy.
yeah.
And he can come in and play 6. So yeah, it's a
I
great
gotta
signing for them.
I gotta ask you, right? What are your thoughts on the Broncos, mate? There's a lot of talk about them at the moment.
Oh,
They're-
being a Raiders fan, it's a bit personal after that first week of the finals.
Where Raiders won the game, mate. It
Like
was just bias that won that game for the Bronx.
the sulking fan thinks, "Oh, the Broncos are the fake premiers. They shouldn't have got past week 1." But something has clicked for the wrong reasons. I mean, we're having this interview and it's only round 2, so many times we've seen teams struggle through the first 6 weeks. Like Panthers, weren't they 17th? Like
Yeah,
round
yeah.
7 last
Well,
year.
they went 0 for 7 and then
Yeah,
knocked them
everyone's like,
over.
"Oh,
Yeah.
the Broncos might just do that." We
Yeah,
just don't know.
yeah. Well, I said to my son. My son's an avid Broncos fan,
Yeah.
and this will go out, and I'm going to cop some serious hate for this. But I actually just don't think Broncos are that great. I don't think they've got the. I think last year they did amazing simply because of one man, which is of course or two, Reece Walsh and Payne Haas.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was luck. If you go back and watch that Canberra game, those calls, man,
I'm not
that
gonna go back, but yeah.
yeah, but those calls were dodgy. Like they were, it shouldn't have happened. Like
Well,
I've never seen
I
a
don't
team win
know.
3 times in one game.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the NRL's like the only sport where a headbutt isn't a send off.
Yeah,
Like whether you think it was a soft headbutt or not, he still got done for a headbutt,
yeah.
and should have not come back to the field to put on the masterclass he did. In my opinion, like I'm starting to talk like a biased Raiders fan now instead of the sports lab, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Hey, look, yeah, there's so many. This year is the year for dodgy calls, I think, so far in the few weeks of
Well,
NRL.
everyone's like, "Oh, the 6 agains have gone up, blah blah blah." But yeah, that's because they replaced. They moved the however meters they give the penalty out to now 6 again. So
Yeah,
it's a bit of a dumb.
They wanted to increase the flow in the game rather than stop start. Just
Yeah, it
like
makes
last
sense.
year
But then
felt like the NFL.
yeah, like why complain about the 6 agains going up? That's what they wanted to happen, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So
Has
I
there
don't
been a
know.
moment in the sports lab history, mate, where everything's gone completely right and you've sat back and you've just gone, I'm a genius. I'm actually a genius.
There was a period where every Sunday I just couldn't miss a bet. Like, I think it was the back end of last season. I just every Sunday, like, we'd have some rough Saturdays and Fridays, and people were like, "Oh, this guy's crap." And then Sunday, I just 2 or 3 games, I just win like 12 bets a day,
Yeah, wow.
and just sit back, and all the people that lost faith in me come Sunday were like, "Oh, of course I didn't get on today." And then, yeah, I don't know. Just I think whenever like I can get that against the trend roughy, which is why the research pays off with like value singles and stuff like that. If I can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the
100%.
if I can get like I think I got Paseka once last year for Manly because I can't remember who they versed, but he was paying 10 to 1,
Yep.
and I think the team they played had leaked like 12 tries to front rowers in X amount of games. Like, all right, Paseka, let's have a educated crack at that. And then I think he scored first or second, and my phone's blowing up. And those are the sort of moments you feel like a genius because everyone can just go, okay, Tyrell Sloan scored a million tries, Coates has scored a million tries. Anyone can do that. So obviously I
Is
do that a lot because the data says to do it, but I
yeah,
try and that's why with the formulas I use leaks, strengths, and history.
yep,
So sometimes I hit a nice 30 to 1 on like the history because I don't know, people just turn up against teams for whatever reason.
yeah.
And like they haven't scored in 8 games in the NRL, but then they've scored 4 times in the last 3 games against this team. And then, you add it to the recent history multi and then it hits. But
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
that's kind of why I roulette table my bets a bit. So instead of putting like $100 on one bet, put like 50 on one I'm confident with, 25 on this, 25 on that, and then 100 on the single. So if the single wins, that's 250 to $300, covers the Hail Marys, if you like.
Yep.
And it's just been a winning long-term formula. So
And
that's kind of what I.
you're an avid poker player, I see, mate. You won a couple of
Mm.
tournaments. What's that experience like?
Um, it's poker's good. It's a psychological battle.
Yep.
Like I hate losing. And everyone's like, when I lose these bets, everyone's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, he gets the copy money, blah, blah, blah. But like, trust me, I'm feeling those losses more than more than you guys. Like I don't want to look crap. I want to do well. But with poker, it's a similar thing. Like you got to study with poker nowadays. Back in the days, it was just like good hand, bet this much and they'll fold or whatever. But now it's like, you got to put in the research and the study your opponents at the table. I guess it's kind of similar stuff, making educated guesses to try and be profitable in the long term. So I guess my
And
brain's kind of wired towards those sort of things.
yeah,
So
it's fascinating, man. To me, it's one of those things where, especially when it comes to poker and sports betting, it takes a real brain to be successful at it. You know,
yeah, because you got to control your money as well. That's the biggest
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
A lot of people just go broke and they think that they're doing this well and then they'll put more money into it, but that's the reason you got successful is because you were cautious to start with and then
yeah,
prove the formula was working. And with poker the formula is always changing. That's the
yeah,
tough part. So what you're
yeah.
doing
Okay, see, I
well
didn't know that. There you go.
poker, what you're doing well a year ago isn't exactly making money this year. And then that's why people go on big downswings and confidence and all that sort of stuff. So poker's always
What's
adapting and changing.
what's the biggest poker tournament you've been a part of?
I think for me, there's some big poker tournaments around Australia. There's a thing called the APL. So there's like
Yep.
the APL Million. So it's like a $1,500 Aussie buy-in, and the winner the last few years has got like 700,000. Um, I'm yet to do that, unfortunately. It's a
Yeah.
tough
Okay.
gig. But yeah, there's a few like big like $2,500 buy-ins, $1,000 buy-ins. So I'm still learning the trade there. I've only been taking poker seriously for like the last 3 4 years, although I've been
Yeah.
playing for since I was 18, which is a long time ago now, but properly and taking it seriously last few years.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man. You do when you're a bit younger, and it's just so fun to sit around a table either chatting with mates or I've never actually played with random people before. I've never played poker with randoms. It's always been with a group of
Yeah.
friends, and man, I tell you what, it's always good nights, good fun.
Yeah, it's all about
Um,
getting on the beers and trying to bluff your friend or whatever. And yeah.
trying to bluff them into having a jack, a jack
Yeah,
high.
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So you
Uh,
can gloat to them. Yeah.
All right, so I've got some rapid fire questions for you, right? And I can assure you, Fancy is not prepared for this, so, because I did not tell him the questions, and he's just gonna. The rule of this, man, is you've just got to rapid fire. Don't think, just answer. All right. So I've
This
got
could get
10
me
of
into
these.
trouble.
Number one, multi or straight bet.
Depends. Straight bet for profiting. Yeah.
Yeah. All in bluff or play it safe.
Oh, all in bluff.
All in bluff, love it. Favorite sport to tip.
NRL.
One team you never trust.
Oh, My own
I
Raiders.
love that answer. Biggest multi roughly that you've ever hit?
In terms of money value or odds?
Odds.
Um, I think it's like 300 to 1 in
Damn.
one game.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story after we finish these and you'll get a laugh. Beer at the pub or poker table grind?
Oh god, poker table grind. Ask me that
Wow.
question 5 years ago, it's the opposite.
The opposite.
Yeah.
Would you rather guaranteed $500 or risk it all for 5K?
Oh, I risk it all for 5K. Again, ask me 5 years ago, reverse the answer.
One player you always back no matter what.
Um, ooh, I know this is rapid fire, but I've had COVID all week, so this is my brain being rapid
Yeah,
fire.
you're right, bro. Take your time.
One player I'll back every week. Well, he's not there anymore, but it would normally be Xavier Coates. Someone in Melbourne Storm team, because you know how you get the double reviews?
Yeah.
Melbourne Storm is my most profitable team, so
Yeah,
anyone on the
perfect.
Storm.
There you go. Uh, your worst bad beat in sports or poker
Ooh.
that you can think of.
Uh, well, the $10,000 one with Pappenhausen's a pretty bad beat. Like someone
Yeah.
of his ability 20 meters out with the whole goal line in front of him. I think Reese Walsh was like at the halfway line. I don't know how. Yeah, anyway, that's
Yeah.
probably. Oh, actually, there's another one that comes to mind. There was a NBA bet where I could have won 25,000, and all I needed was Giannis to get 21 points. It was like a dollar four leg, like
Yeah.
the old like you idiot for putting it in there leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he got. I don't know if he got. I think he hurt his calf or something, and got subbed out at 19 for 25 grand.
Oh,
So I think that
that'd be
would probably be the
heartbreaking.
worst. Yeah, I think that's definitely mathematically the worst beat I've had. If it's a
Damn.
dollar,
Early.
yeah.
Last question. Early cash out. Yes or no?
Oh no, just give
No.
up if you're doing that. Don't be betting that amount if you want to cash it out.
Yeah, fair enough. Here's a story for you, and I've actually got the receipts, and I'll put it in this video to show people. So,
Yeah.
I was doing a thing called cage punters for MMA, where you put in $20 and you get fake money, and then the winners at the end of it make $690. I
Real
think was
money.
the number one price. Yeah, and there was a UFC card in Saudi Arabia, and I for the whole week, I remember sitting there saying to my partner, I should put money on this. The odds were from memory 390 to 1, a complete card.
Juicy.
And I said to
Oh,
my
the whole
missus,
card.
yeah, the whole card. And I said to my missus, I was like, this is it. This is the one. And then we had a promise that I wasn't going to put money on because I'm doing my cage punters thing. Get
Yeah.
to the end of the Sunday thing. I actually didn't watch all the fights. And then I get tagged in something from cage punters going, I've
Mm.
just broken the record for the biggest odds win
Oh,
ever.
but you,
And
you
and it was
you didn't have money on it.
Nah, I put $200 fake money on it,
Oh,
and
fake money.
well, because it was like you buy in, right, and then at the end of the at the end of the competition, someone with the most amount of profit wins $700, right?
Yeah.
Get to the end of it, it was a $200 fake money bet, and it pulled out. I think it was 89,000.
Yeah, well done. Enjoy that fake money. So you made
Yeah,
700 bucks. Yeah, you
yeah,
made 700
mate.
bucks on.
$700 is better than a
Yeah.
punch in the nuts. But
I don't know. Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
remember sitting there and I was just like, I'm never going to do that again ever. And I said
If you
it to
ever
my
have
mate.
obviously do this responsibly.
Yeah,
But if you ever have like a gut feeling or a theory, just whack it on, because the
yeah,
amount of times people are like, "Oh, knew he was going to score, and I didn't do it." And I would if I put all my try scorers that I put in over the week in the one bet, I would have won 100. Just do it. But that's where you can kind of bet small, as long as you're doing other bets to cover that
yeah.
sort of thing.
And
But
oh man, I remember looking at it and it was like the craziest odds I've ever seen in my life. And I was
yeah,
like,
that would have been.
I was like, I don't know how this won't get up. So then I was like, but you know what? We'll stick with my gut feeling. But I'm gonna, worst comes to worst, I win $700, which is still a nice win, you know.
I would have got that 700 bucks and put it on something to win 89 grand, because I would have
Yeah,
been that upset. And then obviously
That's
lost the 700, and then obviously lose the 700. But
yeah, and
yeah.
since that moment, I've never been able to replicate that again, and that was that would have been mid last year. And even I had a friend say to me, and he was like, "Man, I just showed my mates, and they're like, how the fuck did you put money on it?"
Life's all about windows. You got to jump
Yeah,
through it when you get it.
yeah, that's it,
Take the
that's it.
chance.
But speaking of picks, man, let's get into it before I let you go.
All
What's
right.
your number one? What's your number one pick for tonight?
I can't pick a winner because we're meant to do better at home, but then the Bulldogs just have a great. I don't know. They just turn up. I think it's the whole week got a dog thing. Salmon scores every time against us. The Bulldogs beat us every time. So I'm not going to pick a head to head, but there. I think it's meant to be wet in Canberra, so I'm liking the second rows,
Yeah,
like
Jacob Preston.
Hudson Young, Jacob Preston are probably my
Yeah,
two best picks, and obviously Crichton. Um, daddies us every week, every
yeah,
time we play.
yeah.
So yeah, I think Hudson Young, Jacob Preston, Stephen Crichton into a multi would probably be the best three legger.
There you go. You hear that, listeners? If you do like having a punt and you do it responsibly, there's your three for from the up and comer himself from the
But
Sports Lab.
we're gonna cut this out if it doesn't hit.
Ah, yeah, absolutely. um, how can people reach you, man? How can because I see that you do
Mm.
your almost daily tips now when it comes to the rugby league rounds and things like that. You give your
Yeah,
best picks. So how can
I
people
kind
get on that?
of on Facebook. I run a page called Chris Petrie's NRL write ups. It's kind of growing all the time. I originally made that because New Zealand people can't use feeds for whatever dumb reason.
Ah, yeah, right. Okay.
So whenever I've said, "Oh, go to Dabble, look at my bets," they're like, "We can't." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I made that group to accommodate them so they could see what I was doing, and then it kind of just grew from there, and nearly got 7,000 people on that, which is 6,900 more than I anticipated because I wanted
Yeah.
100 Kiwi guys. Um, so yeah, it's a nice little community in there now, and I'm trying to figure out ways to get them more involved now. So because I originally had it as open posting, like people can post their stuff, but then scam has just ruined it for everyone. So
Yeah,
now I
for
don't let
sure.
anyone post. So yeah, I got to figure out ways to fix that. But yeah, Chris Petrie's NRL write ups.
There you go. And we'll have to get you back, mate, pretty regularly, I reckon, and give us some tips
Yeah, for
for
sure.
anyone that loves hearing it. But so you hear it first, guys. Jump on Instagram, Facebook. You're on Instagram, hey?
Oh yeah, I am. I just created an Instagram
Yep.
literally like 2 days ago.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
yeah, it's like the is it an underscore? The
Oh,
Sports
you
Lab
know what?
underscore?
I'll chuck it
Just
in the
post it up,
description of
post
this
it up.
video. Yeah, hundred
Yeah,
percent. So
yeah.
yeah, as you heard, guys, follow Sports Lab Instagram, Chris Petrie's write ups on Facebook. He's also on Dabble if you like dabbling in a little bit of a sports bet, and you can follow him on Sports Bet at the Sports Lab. Can't thank you enough, man, for joining us and being one of our guests for Down Under discussions,
No, I
and
appreciate
look
it. Thank
forward to
you.
more, man.
Yeah, man, it's be good. I'm happy to give my insight. Hopefully it's good stuff. It's all
Yeah,
stats based. It's just pure numbers.
yeah, love it. Awesome.
All right.
And that's it for Down Under discussions, guys. And we will see you next time. Catch you later.
See you guys.